Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Three Amazing People. No, to Black Women in Business, the Dirty Truth. Y'all, this is episode 20. I cannot believe that we are 20 episodes deep and already the fourth episode of this new year. Wow, y'all, time is flying. How's everybody doing? We just do a check in. How are you? How is business? If you have been living in a cave, like we need to talk or something, because this month is gone, y'all. This is it. This is the last Wednesday of January already. You should be talking about Valentine's Day. What you got? What's going on? Now that I've said that, this episode is about to stir up some feelings in some folks. And that's okay, because that's what we're here for. We're going to have the conversations. We hope y'all get real rowdy in the comments. We're going to talk about something that I know when Miss Dayna here brought up this topic and was like, this is something we should talk about. Dayna feels very passionate about this. But I could see where it was going, and we all had some like yes moments and talking it over. So I know this is going to be a deep one. And we said this, Dayna said this back, I think it was episode 1 or 2. Look, if you get upset, it's about you. That ain't about nothing that we said. It's okay, boo. Ask the questions, get some, dig deep. Social media people out there. Dayna has an amazing group where she talks about all that stuff. Get the link from her. Listen, we got you. But we're talking about using social media and marketing. I don't want to say right, properly, or correct, but that's what we're going to say, because it's a miss. It's a lot of missing the targets out here. And not that any of us are perfect by far, but we've been around long enough. We've been using social media and learning whatever tricks as they come and go, that I think we feel like we can bless y'all with a little something. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about social media. And if you're not using social media, you are really missing a huge part of, reaching your people. So let's talk about, ladies, social media and marketing in this small business world, in this business world. We ain't small, we big.
All right. So I'm going to kick it off because I remember this was some time back, but just first and foremost, I'm going to throw some statistics out there. Okay. So a lot of times in business, I'll hear people say, oh, I hate social media. Mm-hmm. Or I don't know what to do I don't have time for that for my business. Okay. So just listen. Okay. Some statistics here. So according to this study, African Americans are 44% more likely than total market consumers to create a social media platform. Okay. Overall, 73% of African American internet users and 96% of those ages 18 to 29 use a social networking site of some kind. Okay. So I want you guys to think about that. The next one, the usage of social media sites such as Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook to reach African Americans have been proven to increase consumer engagement, as 81% of African Americans are more likely to show support of a company via social media. Okay. So if you want to claim your people aren't on social media, they don't use Facebook, they're not active on these platforms, you're a whole lie. Okay. Because these statistics are telling you differently. Okay. So whether you have a love-hate relationship with social media, you are shooting yourself in the foot by not being present in some form, shape, or fashion. Okay. I also I remember someone talking about, and this was more in connection with sports. Like, we sit here and we watching TV, we watching these sports, we watching other people make money. Mm-hmm. The problem, I think, culturally that happens is we have these social platforms, but we use these social platforms to consume, right? Mm-hmm. So we want to be entertained. We want to consume information. And so we're not, on the flip side, using that platform in the same way to promote our businesses and to educate. So we're on the social platforms, but we watching other people make money and we helping other people make money versus creating something and systems for our own business to be able to market ourselves properly and to use it to leverage ourselves. Because here's the thing, and now granted, as we develop with whatever the heck is going on with Twitter, most of the social platforms are free, right? So this is free marketing. This is free advertisement. This is free branding. So why not use that as an extra piece?
Well, for me, I understand. Shucks, social media wasn't a thing growing up. I mean, I got it late in high school. So high school kids on there, they just trying to find friends. They going off to college, and it was a just tell all thing. Tell your business, tell the business to the world, update your status, all this stuff. I'm talking about Facebook, if y'all know. But then shifting over to entrepreneurship is like, okay, I can't talk about my friend from round the way who didn't come to my little party because she had whatever going on. I couldn't be like that. I now have to focus like, well, I have to be business minded and just talk about my business. But then it gets so much of, am I talking about my business too much on my page? How do people know who I am if I'm just saturating my page or my social media with business? They don't know me. And so that's where I get caught up. And then I had to create a whole new business page. Well, then that was a whole other problem within itself because now I have two things to keep up with. Do I just talk about business over here or do I bring it over here to my personal page? And then as a teacher, y'all know I'm a doula. I talk about babies and breastfeeding and all that type of stuff. What if one of my students find my page and, oh, well, Miss Dixon was on here talking about breastfeeding and all this type of stuff. Was she teaching them kids over there at that school? So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, can I post this? Because outside of social media, I am a person and I have to go out and talk to other people's kids and everything. They look at me funny. And so learning to leverage social media and marketing for my business is kind of tough right now. I'm learning to use it as a marketing tool, so to speak. But how do I fit in being myself, being a teacher, and being a doula all at once? And I know Dayna said last episode that she don't care what you think about when she put it on her page. She just gonna put it all out there, and you can feel free to unfollow. For me, I'm thinking like I'm trying to get people to come in. I'm trying to attract consumers. So I don't know. Maybe y'all got some insight on that. Like, how do y'all separate business, personal, and then whatever else is attached to you?
Well, first of all, you just exhausted me. I'm not gonna lie. That was exhausted as mess. Because this is the thing, and I think this was, one of the pivotal points of this topic for this episode is that it's social. Like, I know we've said on multiple episodes, you catch me in the streets, matter of fact, I might be a little dressed down compared to what you might see on, but I'm gonna be me. I'm going to be me. There's no hiding. And I feel like, I remember there was a time, like Dayna, I used to say in stories, and I always used to preface, if I was getting ready to say something that might be seen controversial or might cause me to lose, I felt like I had to vocalize to you, listen, I'm about to say, and if you don't like it, unfollow. And then I was like, why am I putting a disclaimer up? Like, you are here with me. So I'm going to say what's me. Now, I'm not finna cuss somebody out on, I'm grown. So I'm going to come to you like a grown person. And I'm not finna be, but that's exhausting. You just made me so exhausted to think.
I apologize.
But I think we've all done it. I can remember being like, I don't want to show up in my stories and talk like me. Like, I want to, but it's too much. It's too much. Like, talking about breastfeeding and a child if a child is upset because they heard you talking about breastfeeding, we need to talk about there is a bigger picture to that. Why is it an issue that you talking about breastfeeding? Like, that's the bigger problem. And And you saying you're trying to attract consumers, but you don't want somebody who doesn't agree with you, because then what are they doing behind your back with your products or your services? Or no, I don't want you here. If you got a problem with me being like, I love breastfeeding or X, Y, and Z, like I don't want you here. I would love for you to stay and for me to be able to educate you and for you and I to have conversation around our differences and our disagreements, but I'm not going to force you to stay here. And I'm certainly not going to back away from something that ain't harming nobody. Like that's the bigger issue. I mean, I understand the school system, they, Florida got their issues and we're going to let that be. But come on, breastfeeding, or if you're saying the word, I mean, now you got me thinking I don't want to say this word. Zuckerberg might shut us down. but that's like, that's too much. And if there's a spot where you're feeling like that's no, like thin line, right? Thin line between love and hate. You have to understand what you're doing and what it's going to attract. So if you're, as they say, cussing like a sailor, then you have to understand that you're going to have those people that either like that kind of like potentially seen as passive aggressive or aggressiveness, or if you're ain't you never gonna wanna, those are people that are gonna feel safe and connected in that. And if you don't like that, or as Dayna said when we were kind of discussing the topic, if you acting ratchet and you like all I get is ratchet people, well, So in your case, you talking about breastfeeding, you're gonna get people that want to breastfeed. Or you talk about having babies, you're attracting people that can have babies or are having babies or supporting somebody that's having babies. Like that only makes sense. Why would you? That's like saying I'm going to show up and teach about playing guitar just because I feel like that's what the next person want to hear, but you don't know how to play guitar. Well, I hope you don't now that I said that.
I just want to if possible kind of feed into some of that. So I know, and if you're watching and you're in a profession where you do have to be put up on a certain standard, let us know in the comments. I would love to know what profession you're in, where that matters for certain things. Because I feel like my team is full of nurses and teachers, right? So I feel like everybody on my team is a nurse or a teacher.
Yeah.
Or former teachers. Like for whatever reason, I attract a lot of former teachers. And I will say I have had issues where people have changed their name on their social platforms or changed their presence because they're like, I don't want to hear nobody parents. I don't want to hear, these kids finding me. I don't want to, have to deal with certain things just because from a legal standpoint, I need to be careful. The one thing that I will say to that then is business and personal. Like if you feel that it's more necessary to separate those two, do it. But I would say, to your point, you're giving yourself extra work now, right? So now if I have, because I know my Facebook page, Dayna Oilyhairboss, I also have my marketing one, but Dayna Oilyhairboss is my business personal page. Okay. So like I have a Dayna Mott page that is like my actual, like this was the Facebook I had when like I first got on Facebook, right? So the friends I have on there are like, when I go, sometimes I'll log into that feed just because I want to see people I actually am like friends with. And I'm like, hey, what's going on with your life, right? These are people I went to high school with, my family members, those type of people, right? But I don't ever post over there. I really don't. Like, it's rare that I'm commenting, interacting on that page because it takes so much energy and effort to keep my business moving forward. So I don't have the time and energy to also play around with like my personal stuff. And so I guess my comment to those that are in that kind of scenario, if you're looking at big picture, your business being like your main thing, we talked about side hustle, right? If you're looking at that being your big thing, don't shoot yourself in the foot trying to keep the peace over here with a career that you're like, I don't even want to stay in this career.
Yeah.
Because if your account is private, if you're hiding away from people, how do you expect people to find you? If you're not talking about the real oil that you help people with, people, just because you post, I have an oil, they're like, I have no idea what that is. Oh, you have an oil that's going to help me because I'm struggling to breastfeed my child? Now that opens up a whole new demographic of people. But if you're like, well, I can't talk about breasts, right? I can't talk about this, I can't talk about that. You're never going to attract those new people. If you're not searchable and able to be found, you're only going to keep talking to yourself, right? You're going to get frustrated and you're going to be like, this doesn't work. It's not doing anything. And I think on social media, so many times I watch people talk to themselves and I'm like, you got 4 followers. And granted, I'm not knocking how many followers you have, but you're talking to yourself, right? Like, you're not getting to new people by just posting and I mean, kudos to you for being consistent, but if you're just talking to yourself, you're not going to grow your business. You're not going to get beyond where you're going. So I do feel like there's a level of, are you leveraging social media in a way that's actually going to attract people to you?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Military wise, there are things that I get, but you know what though? Listening to you say that makes me feel like military life and things you can and cannot say is easier. Because I just don't say it. Like, specifically talking about Young Living products, if I'm talking about the Nature's Ultra stuff, I always just say, you know, listen, there are regulations for each military branch. You better understand yours. Now, I know what they are, but you need to understand yours. So if you're a Navy, Marine, this is what they say. Air Force or Army, just don't even touch it, don't even breathe it, because they're not playing with y'all. But I say what it is and then put it out there. But I mean, there are just things that I know inherently that I can and cannot say. But I think that we all know when we're towing a line. Like, you know, if you're towing a line talking about something to do with your school district, it's going to get you into trouble, right? Like, I mean, it could be a headache if you got parents being like, oh, my child's teacher is on talking about, you know, showed a picture of, I don't know, was when somebody zero a face, you know, whatever. So, and my child was scarred for life. I mean, I could understand being like, you know, I just had 10 little bobbies coming, you know, mama's in my inbox telling me, you know, I could understand it being frustrating. But like Dayna's saying, what's the alternative? Like, if this is something you're passionate about and you want to do, you're gonna talk to 4 people. I mean, followers mean nothing if you got 10 million followers and only one of them's your customer. It's like, well, it's moot. But if you got 4 people and 4 customers, it's still not thriving. So I guess you just have to, I guess that's the downfall, right, of social media, is it's knowing people just need to not comment on things they don't like. That's the tough part. I think that's
I'm always asking my husband, I'm like, look, do you think they'll be okay with this? Do you think I can record this video and put this up here? Well, no. If you got to ask me, you might as well not even post it if you have to ask. And so it's like, that's why I don't post business things as far as educational things on my private stuff. And I know people probably like, well, she says she'll do it, but where's the evidence that she is? Because I never on personal things. But maybe that's not where y'all was wanting to go with this conversation, but that was just heavy on me. I was like, look, business page, personal page, I can't keep up.
But that's a good question, though, Dayna. Since you do the marketing, like, I know we kind of talked about this before. I was heavy on marketing, but social media marketing and what my degree in is totally different. So if you're somebody who's like, well, I got a marketing degree, it don't work. No, it don't work because they're 2 different things. But what they taught us, we talking about going out there and giving somebody a poll. And social media, that's a different landscape. That's like Mars and Earth. But what would be a way, like, if you had a client on your marketing side of things that you did, and they're like, you know, I want to post these things, but I want to keep it maybe like snippet. What would be your advice to how could they get it to that feed, but use it like a funnel to get people to where that actual full content is?
Yeah, so I would definitely say check your platforms and check that you're on the platform that your people are going to be, because different platforms are going to operate very differently, right? So even when it comes to something like I want to funnel and convert people, right? If you are a teacher, and I mean, granted, this would be a little bit different for your case because you really want more doula clients than you do necessarily teachers. But let's say I'm a teacher and I'm targeting other teachers, right? Something like LinkedIn might be a better fit for what I'm doing because these are professionals, right? And so the content, even though, yes, you're going to still do video content on there, you're still going to have posts and things, but you're going to come from it more from an education standpoint, right? Like, this is how this works and operates, and then this is how we convert it. Versus, I think that then there's people that are wildly underusing things like Pinterest. So if you have a visual business, right, and you love your Instagram and your feed and all the pretty things, those things should be transpiring into Pinterest, right? And the reason I say some of these things is because depending on what you're doing might depend on how you show up and how that looks a little differently. I will say, first and foremost, especially if you are not in a position to outsource, if you are not in a position to hire, then I would simplify your processes. You might need to say for a year, I'm going to just say goodbye to my personal page, right? Like where I kind of just show up and have fun. I'm not even going to log into it because you know what's going to happen. You're going to log into it. You're going to go down the rabbit hole and see what Pookie and them's cousin is doing over here and get distracted. And it's going to consume some of your time that you're already limited on that time. So my focus would be to focus on your business and your business page, but I would personalize that business page. So I want you guys to hear that again. You're going to personalize that business page. So you are not going to just have stagnant posts of your products. You're not just going to have stagnant posts of breastfeeding babies, right? Like you're going to put some personalization in there. And, you know, people go back and forth what your ratio should be, but I should know more from a personal level about you than what you do, okay? Because that's how I'm going to make that connection. So going back to even my Dayna Oilyhairboss, right? So on that page, it's a personal page, right? But it's really not like people think they know me, but you don't really get to know like intimate parts of me. It's rare that I'm really sharing something that like is intimate to this is me, right? But I will share things about like I homeschool. So we're out and about and this is how we homeschool, because I want to also paint for people the full vision of what I do. You can be a business owner and you can still homeschool your kids. You can be a business owner and you can still be a good mom. You can be a this, you can be a that. And so let me show you that that's the lifestyle. So when you work with me on social media and marketing, I'm going to help simplify those processes because you see that that's how it's affected and worked in my life. So again, as a doula, you know what I mean? When you're speaking to your ideal person, right? They should see that like, oh, this is your lifestyle, right? This is how you operate with your children. And that's a whole thing too. You might not want to necessarily have your children all over there, but to me, you're going to feel that you want somebody else to trust you with their kids. So I feel like there's elements that you should kind of share with the world a little bit about your kids, right? Otherwise, it's strange. It's like, okay, you're going to help me hold birth a baby and all this other stuff, give me all this guidance, and I don't even know. You tell me you got kids, but I ain't never seen these kids. This claims that. Like, so I find for me in my industry, I love my kids, and like I said, I do post about them, but people don't care about that. Like when I post my kids, like that is not the thing that gets the most viewership, shares, likes, comments, interaction. You know, like honestly and truthfully, it is the things that they came there to hear. Marketing, the things that they came to hear. Oils, it's the things that they came to hear. Hair, skin, nails. That's what they want to see and hear. So I can make it funny. I can educate them on stuff, make sure there's things that they can save, but that's what they're coming for. So I would definitely just say, I know that was a really long way to answer that question, but I definitely would say simplify your processes. You can build out from once you get something done well.
Yeah. I love it.
Makes a whole
You
lot
have
of
something to add?
No, I was just saying it makes a whole lot of sense. I appreciate it because it's a struggle.
Yeah.
And then I know. So if y'all like comments, hey, go ahead and drop them. What?
Oh yeah, for sure. What are your, while we're talking about engaging in the comments, what are your struggles, your dislikes and likes about social media? Let's hear them, because that's like topics within themselves. And since I've mentioned that, how do both of you ladies feel from a personal, like you working your own business and doing it, and then from a Dayna, a teaching moment, teachable moment? How do y'all feel about all the trend hopping? Not so much the, using the platforms, available resources and gadgets and gizmos, because that's the thing. But like the trends, you find a lot of business people get caught up. And for me, just like Andriana talking about worrying about the people, that junk gives me anxiety when I watch some of my friends that are running businesses and they're doing this one, and then next week they done jumped on something else, and I'm just like, baby, how you got the time? Because okay, you're telling me that you scheduled all of these things out, then you just threw in a whole, like, did you just scrap all of that, or you saved it, you sent it to drafts? How do y'all feel about that? Do you do that? Do you find that works for you? Because I know a lot of this is like, it's very like, depends on the person, depends on your platform, very subjective. But how do y'all feel about that? And in the comments, how do y'all feel? Do you jump on every trend? What you got, ladies?
I've always wanted the same thing because Dayna always, now she taught me ever since I met her, batch your content. So if I see somebody over here doing this little trend over, I'm like, wait a minute, now she did this 2 months ago. How she knew about this before? I mean, it even got popular. I don't know. I would love to know the answer to that too, but where do you find the time to do that? Because I feel like I don't have time to do nothing anyway. I don't know. Go ahead and preach, Dayna.
I would say first and foremost, only focus on the things that you can consistently do. Will you get rewarded in the algorithms for using trending audio, trending things, certain stuff like that? Absolutely, you will. That's how that's how the platform works, right? They want you to keep people on it. So they're definitely gonna, if they have new features, they're going to reward you for using their new features. That's just hands down. Now, just a little trick and tip. If you're on TikTok and you see something trending on TikTok, bring that over to Instagram or Facebook, because it's not going to get there till 3 months later anyways. Okay.
Yeah.
So you be the first one to bring it from TikTok to there, and then you'll be ahead of the trend with it. That being said, though, there is pretty much a very uniformed marketing strategy for all social media platforms in all different places, right? So at the end of the day, I don't care if you're doing a TikTok dance or you're doing, I don't know, a carousel post, or you're doing a short video. Either way, there's 3 things that your content and your business should always be doing. It should be educating your audience, it should entertain your audience, and then it should inspire your audience. Now, that doesn't mean that all of your posts are going to do all 3, but if you keep in those 3 veins, it's not going to matter if you're dancing or not, right? I know highly successful bloggers that do not do any type of reels, TikTok videos, none of it. They don't do any of it, right? And they are still converting and having amazing things happen. Most of their stuff is still stagnant photos, maybe carousels, different angles, different things. They look very professional. They look really good. Their feed looks great, but they are still trending highly and doing well, even though they're like, I don't want to do no video content, right? Yeah. But if you're sticking to those 3 things and you're continuously building your audience and building your connections, you won't need to worry about trends as much because the right people will be gravitating to you anyways. And I do think that you'll have a lot of social media gurus out there, and they'll be telling you do this and telling you do that, but then you get burnt out, and you will definitely get results. I'm not going to say you're not going to get results, but are you getting the results that you want? Are you getting the results that are converting to sales? Are you getting the results speaking to your right ideal audience, or are you spinning your wheels and still staying stagnant in the same place?
Yeah. Are you just busy? Are you just busy, but it's not having no kind of fruit of that labor? Yeah, absolutely. I think what I like most about that is the sustainability portion. Like if you can do it and it can be sustained, I think that's key, because then you can avoid that burnout, and then you love it. Like it took me a long time to get into reels. And since I got into them, everything done changed. It's like I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do. And there are things that I do, and I get a kick out of some of them. I think it's hilarious, and then I'll show like my sons or my husband, and they'll be like, "Okay." I feel like, all right, well, I'm still putting it up there, so don't look if y'all embarrassed. I just think it's funny, and I think that's a big portion of social media. Yes, we have that professional aspect of it, and you want to make sure that you're sticking to your brand and not running behind somebody else and trying to be anybody else other than who you are and what your brand is. But are you enjoying it? Because I feel like in those moments where I've hated it and was getting caught up in the how I should talk, oh, let me go make sure I put on makeup, or let me go make sure this hair is not sticking out, or I ain't got my Cleo braids after a workout and talking to people. I hated it. And I didn't want to show up because it just was too much work to be there and to talk to people. But if you're loving it, everybody else, everybody's gonna love it. And like Dayna's saying, you're gonna have that conversion, you're gonna have those engagements, you're gonna bring those people in. I don't care what I mean. I think I follow lots of people and know, like Dayna said, lots of people who don't do it. And then when they do post a video, it's like, oh, look at you. And so you want to watch it because they did something different. But yeah, I think we gotta keep that aspect in it, the socialization piece, but also, do you love it? Because if you don't love it, why are you doing it?
And I definitely will say focus on the things that you enjoy doing. Again, outsource the stuff that you don't, or simply just don't do it. It just doesn't make sense if you're not enjoying it. I know for me, I'm similar to you. Like I actually enjoy doing reels. I enjoy doing those things, and I think they're the most hilarious thing ever. And same thing, I show my husband, I show my kids, and they're like,
yeah.
Maybe we had to be there to get it. And I'd be like, that's hilarious to me. I'm sure there's somebody else with it. Right?
Yeah. I get tickled. Sometimes I'll sit and watch it. When I made one about Ningxia a while back, and I don't remember the guy's voice, but I used a lot of his, his voiceovers, because I think how he just tickles me. And I think I watched that thing. He's like, "Are you gonna post it?" I was like, "No, it's scheduled to post. I just want to watch it because I think it's funny. Like it's funny." So I get a kick out of it too. And I think that's bigger than, are you just doing it because right now 10 million people enjoy it?
So I will just kind of wrap up with this. Like, I will say this. So tips for your social media, your marketing. Let's do something different this year. Okay. Let's do something different. First and foremost, get present on the social medias. Okay. This is a free marketing platform. Yes, you want to be searchable in Google. Yes, you want to be able to put ads out there and things like that. But this is something that can run for you. And I guarantee you, I don't care how big or small your business is right now, when people find your name, the first thing they're going to do is Google you, right? And what shows up? Hopefully your website, and then hopefully your socials. If your socials are broken and people can't easily contact you, purchase from you, access your things, they're going to keep moving. They're going to go to the next person. And you're missing out on a large portion of people that could be converting with you, but you don't even know that because your links are broken. Your things aren't working. You're not showing up, right? The other thing is, if you have a business and they're coming to your page and you're talking about, I'm all about finances, and all they see is you making juice with your kids, while that is great, fine, and dandy, I'm probably not going to entrust my finances to you, right? Or if they see that you haven't posted since 2016, they're like, well, how are you going to help me in my business today? So my biggest advice is get active, do what you can. Even if that means you only show up on social media once a week, once every other week, whatever you can do consistently, be sure to show up and do that. I know earlier this month I did a workshop, and it was all setting us up for our Q1. And it's so important that you strategize. If you fail to plan, you're putting yourself in a situation to fail, right? So that would be my biggest tip for you. Get active on it. Get some help with it. Don't feel like you have to do it alone.
Yes. Yes, I love it. I agree. I just mirror with, like Dayna said, this year, something different, to just be consistent with it. And I do think that goes back to last week's episode about being self-aware, understand what you can do for you and your business. It's your business. It's you. So what's realistic for you? Like, I mean, I know I some people, and I'm like, dang, that girl done posted 4 times today. Like, I ain't got it. That's not like I got 2. I got 2, and I keep a slot open for those moments where something comes up and I'm like, I just want to share that. And I'm already scheduled up and I just want to go and I feel like it needs to go at that moment. But that's me. And it's consistent and it's on brand for me. And so you know that's coming. And yeah, definitely love that. We're doing things differently. We are using this, as Dayna put it, this free marketing platform. Things like this is free. Nobody is charging you to be there. And you have access to millions of people that could push the needle for you and your business and may have you hit those goals that we set last week and that we talked about last week. So love to hear how y'all are doing. Drop your handles. If you would like somebody to come take a look at your social media, put them in the comments. Can't promise nothing, but drop them in the comments. We'll check you out. Come and hang out with us next Wednesday. Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 Central. We have more of these amazing conversations. And y'all know, if there's anything that we can ever do, reach out to us. Our handles are here in these bubbles. Jump in the inbox, jump in the comments. Let us know that you need somebody to reach out to you. We are here for you. We look forward to catching up with you next week. If you missed any episodes, you're brand spanking new to hanging out with us and you want to go back to the very first episode, grab that link in the comments and I'll take you to every single one in order. Yeah, let's close out January. Let's get intentional and keep being real, and we will see you in February, y'all. Talk to you later.
Yeah.